800 feet above the unsuspecting suburb of Fiddler's Gulch drifted the dirigible SS Intana, a patched-up advertising blimp that still bore the slogan, "Try Schnitzel and chips," in peeling vinyl letters. The gondola had been converted into a floating studio stuffed with salvaged electronics, milk crate furniture, and a suspicious number of lava lamps. It was home to 99.9 Freefall FM, the only pirate radio station that literally broadcast from the sky. Rita Ricochet, birth name. Marita Rosalezzi, former mall DJ, current aeronautical outlaw, stood at the console wearing aviator goggles and a sequined captain's hat. She pumped her fist over the turntables. "Good evening, terrestrial life forms," she boomed into the microphone. "This is Captain Rita bringing the thunder figuratively, with another night of unlicensed sonic delight. Up next, a little classic funk to shimmy your atoms." Ned Knobs Knudsen, the station's engineer and a man who favored Hawaiian shirts regardless of season, hunkered beside a Frankenstein stack of amplifiers that hummed like an angry hive. An Arduino dangled from a USB cable, blinking in confusion. Ned produced a screwdriver from behind his ear and adjusted a coil the size of a bagel. "Crank it to 11, Knobs," Rita ordered. "It only goes to 10. "Then make 10 louder." "That's—" "Never mind." Ned twisted the dial anyway. The blimp vibrated like a tuning fork. Somewhere near the tail fin, a rivet pinged loose and sailed into the clouds. Across the gondola, 20-year-old intern April Showers, yes, her parents were comedians, juggled request calls on a beige rotary phone. She scribbled titles on a whiteboard. Another one bites the dust. Ice, Ice Baby, the usual suspects. April leaned out of the porthole to gauge their altitude. Captain, we're at 800 feet and climbing. Also, I can see my breath, which is weird for June." "It's called atmosphere, kid," Rita said, sliding a Parliament record from its sleeve. "She's moody." The night's broadcast started like any other. Rita spun vinyl, cracked jokes, and occasionally guided the blimp with a lever labeled up, down, sideways. But 15 minutes after Knobs installed his new homemade quantum modulator, he insisted the name sounded cooler than Weird Box I built from an old microwave, strange things began to happen. It started small. When Rita played Stevie Wonder's Superstition, the town's streetlights flickered in perfect sync with the clavinet riff. Ned chalked it up to coincidence. Then Rita dropped Purple Rain. Within seconds, lavender-tinted drizzle sprinkled Fiddler's Gulch. Citizens looked up, confused yet delighted, as their umbrellas turned violet. April watched through binoculars. "Guys," she said, "the parking lot of Bargain Barn just got a free tie-dye job." "Coincidence," Ned insisted, though his voice cracked on the last syllable. Captain Rita sniffed the air. A faint smell of grape Kool-Aid wafted through the open hatch. "That's new," she muttered, flipping to the B-side. Song after song, the impossible continued. Ring of Fire emitted a warm updraft that lit every backyard tiki torch in town. Ice Ice Baby generated marble-sized hail, pelting Fiddler's Gulch Elementary and giving the school board an early start on roof repairs. Here Comes the Rain Again triggered a localized downpour directly over a car wash fundraiser. Rita stopped the turntable, palms sweating. "Either we have magical taste in music, or the universe finally got itself a decent DJ," she said. April pointed at the quantum modulator, which glowed burnt orange. "What did you hook that thing to?" Ned scratched his beard. "Well, I spliced the microwave magnetron into the backup transmitter, routed the coax through the Doppler radar dish I swiped from channel 6, and grounded everything to the blimp's frame." "Why?" "Because," April said, "we might be remixing the sky." Knobs's grin wobbled. "Oops." Meanwhile, on the ground, retired meteorologist Dr. Phyllis Nimbus watched the purple drizzle from her porch. She sipped chamomile tea and scowled at her barometer, which now displayed an emoji of a shrug. "This is not sanctioned behavior for atmospheric particles," she declared, then dialed the National Weather Service. Across town, FCC enforcement agent Marvin Grimble sat in his van labeled Pest Control and Undercover Ruse and triangulated pirate signals. Marvin's mission had dragged on for months: locate and silence Freefall FM. His oscilloscopes danced, the readings were off the chart, literally. The needle jammed into the red zone and snapped. Marvin's cuticle whitened around his pencil. At last, he whispered, pushing a button that launched a government-issue tracking drone into the clouds. No more monkeying with the airwaves. No one realized yet that monkeying with the airwaves was exactly the problem. By morning, Freefall FM was trending on social media. Influencers posted clips of cotton candy mist and disco ball lightning. A local cafe advertised storm-themed lattes. Tourists piled into Fiddler's Gulch armed with umbrellas and Spotify requests. From the blimp, Captain Rita surveyed the frenzy through a telescope shaped like a saxophone. "People love us," she said. "They love the weather," April corrected, twirling her ponytail. "Same difference," Ned paced, clipboard in hand. "Our signal's coupling with atmospheric ions," he said, "which are resonating sympathetically with the audio frequencies. In simpler terms, the sky is dancing to our playlist." "Can it dance to something mild?" April asked. "My aunt's Dashin got blown into a wading pool during Blowing in the Wind." Rita placed a motivational hand on Ned's shoulder. "Knobs, can we fine-tune it? Make sunshine on demand, drizzle by request?" "Hold your horses, Captain," Ned said. "We're flirting with meteorological chaos. You mess with Mother Nature, she puts you in permanent rotation." Rita considered that, then smirked. "Okay, but ratings." April's desk phone rang. She answered, listened, and mouthed, "It's the mayor." Mayor Tiffany Goldblatt sounded giddy. "Captain Rita, Fiddler's Gulch Summerfest starts tonight. If you could guarantee clear skies for the opening fireworks, we'd be in your debt." She paused. "And by debt, I mean we'd ignore certain licensing irregularities regarding flight permits." Rita grinned like a cat in an aviary. "Madam Mayor, Freefall FM is happy to provide." Ned's protest died beneath Rita's glare. "Fine," he said, "but no fancy stuff. We'll broadcast Here Comes the Sun at low amplitude. And that's it." That evening, the blimp drifted above the festival fairgrounds. Food trucks lined the park, carnival rides squealed, and a crowd awaited the promised sublime sky. Rita queued up the famous Beatles track. Ned set the quantum modulator to gentle. April handed out earplugs just in case. "Sunshine, here we go," Rita announced. The first chords chimed, and the clouds parted like theater curtains. Golden light bathed the park. The crowd whooped. Vendors sold 10 times more lemonade. Rita basked in applause she couldn't hear but felt in her bones. "See?" she said. "Piece of cake." Unfortunately, she let the track run into Good Day Sunshine. Ned's jaw dropped. The modulator's dial spun. A massive thermal bubble rose under the blimp, lifting it another 200 feet. Below, the temperature spiked from 72 to 98 in minutes. Popsicles melted faster than vendors could unwrap them. People fanned themselves with brochures advertising cool night fireworks. April peered over the edge. "I smell bacon, and not from the food truck." Ned slammed the gain knob to 0. The thermal bubble collapsed and the blimp lurched downward, tossing records like frisbees. One album, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, landed on the turntable, needle dropping mid-groove. A monsoon erupted. Stalls toppled. Ferris wheel riders screamed as gusts spun them backward. Mayor Goldblatt, soaking wet, called again. "I thought we had a deal." Rita, hair plastered to her captain's hat, sighed. "Art is unpredictable," she said, hanging up. Sirens wailed. Marvin Grimble's pest control van fishtailed onto the scene. He looked skyward and through binoculars spotted the Schnitzel and Chips logo. "Gotcha!" he snarled, triggering the drone's homing beacon. Back on the blimp, April slapped duct tape over the record crates. No more random vinyl, no more surprises. Ned studied the readouts. "Our output is increasingly nonlinear. If we keep messing around, we'll create a feedback loop, weather chaos squared." "I hate math humor," Rita said, then blinked at a pulsing red light on the dashboard. Knobs? What's our fuel gauge doing in the down position?" "We're almost out of helium," Ned said. "Burned extra lifting during the hot air bloat. We need to land and refill." "Landing means the FCC pounces," April said. "I just saw their drone. It winked at me. Or possibly armed its lasers." Rita rubbed her temples. "Think, people. How do we dodge the law, stabilize the atmosphere, and not plummet like a stone loaf?" Silence. Then April snapped her fingers. We lean in. If music manipulates weather, maybe weather can manipulate lift, Rita whistled. You mean we pick a song that gives us the perfect updraft? Exactly, April said. We ride the storm like surfers. Ned flipped through a playlist muttering, Wind Beneath My Wings? Too sentimental. Rock You Like a Hurricane? Too much rock, too much hurricane. April gasped. Ride like the wind. Eek, Ned said. Christopher Cross is risky. Rita shrugged. Risky is my middle name. Actually, it's Dolores, but close enough. Cue it. They powered the transmitter. The opening chords floated into the ether. A steady gale formed, pushing the blimp northeast, away from the advancing FCC vans. Below, Grimble's drone zigzagged in confusion. Yes, Rita shouted. Then lightning crackled at the cloud line. Ned's eyes widened. The song mentions being born the son of a lawless man. Meteorological irony. A downdraft slapped the blimp sideways, knocking April into a stack of milk crates. The turntable skipped from Ride Like the Wind to a nearby single, Thunderstruck. The sky erupted in strobe light bolts. The gale turned cyclone. The dirigible spun like a lazy Susan at a potluck. Ned clutched the console. April screamed, Skip it, skip it! Too late. Another bump dropped the needle on Rock You Like a Hurricane. Mother Nature obliged. Below, Marvin Grimble watched his drone vanish in a rotating column of air. He dove under his van, shrieking, I didn't sign up for Wizard of Oz reenactments. Inside the blimp, alarms blared. The fabric envelope groaned. Rain poured sideways through the hatch. Rita slapped the emergency stop. The music died. So did the wind, abruptly. The blimp, robbed of lift, began sinking in eerie calm. Ned checked gauges. We're just sitting at 15 feet per second, impact, and 5 Egg McMuffins. English knobs, 3 minutes. Options, dumb ballast, April suggested, emptying a cooler of craft sodas overboard. The blimp lightened, but still sank. Rita swallowed hard. We need a song, one perfect track to stabilize everything, something balanced, mellow, and, above all, meteorologically neutral. Ned's eyes darted between crates. What even is neutral? Muzak? April rummaged through a plastic tub labeled Guilty Pleasures. How about Here Comes the Sun Again? After last time? Pass, Rita said. What about Let It Be? Ned offered. Title suggests acceptance, not manipulation. April tilted her head. No weather words in the lyrics. Could work, Rita hesitated. Folks, that's sacred ground. It's Paul McCartney, not voodoo, Ned said. We're using it. They loaded the track. The blimp was now mere hundreds of feet above a cow pasture. Those looked up, unamused. Transmit, now, Rita declared. Gentle piano chords floated out. The quantum modulator glowed soft gold. Air currents leveled. The dirigible stopped falling, hovering like a balloon in gelatin. Below, the field of grass shimmered with dew that evaporated in seconds. Sunlight pierced layered clouds, then settled into a calm afternoon hue. April exhaled. It's working. Ned's shoulders sagged in relief until the modulator sparked. Capacitor's overheating, he warned. If it blows, we're back to chaos. Rita bit her lip. Fuse the loop. Run the song on repeat until we land. Land where? April asked. Rita scanned the horizon and spied the abandoned big box plaza, its massive flat roof perfect for emergency parking. There, she said, pointing. They vented helium sparingly. The blimp descended like an elderly dandelion seed, alighting on the roof with a rubbery bounce. The gondola scraped an HVAC vent, but otherwise survived. For 30 seconds, silence. Then jubilant whoops. They had landed. They had, astonishingly, not destroyed the tri-state area. Ned powered down the modulator. Its glow faded. The atmosphere stayed calm. April high-fived Ned. We just pacified the troposphere with soft rock. Classic pop, Ned corrected, but he grinned. Their celebration lasted until Agent Grumble's voice boomed through a bullhorn. Attention illegal broadcasters, you are surrounded! Rita peeked over the railing. FCC vans, police cruisers, and Dr. Nimbus's personal Prius encircled Big Box Plaza. The mayor stood among them, holding a clipboard and a broken umbrella. Rita turned to her crew. All right, people, time for diplomacy. She opened the hatch and descended the rope ladder, goggles askew but posture regal. Marvin Grimble marched up, badge flashing. Captain Rita Ricochet, you are charged with unlicensed broadcasting, unauthorized airship operation, and, he consulted a note, conspiring with cumulonimbus clouds. Dr. Nimbus cleared her throat. Also, reckless endangerment of dew point stability. Mayor Goldblatt stepped forward. And ruining our fireworks. Rita raised both palms. I hear you, but consider the upside. Tourist revenue, social media buzz, free agricultural irrigation. A farmer shouted, "My cows hate techno." Fair point. Ned and April joined Rita on the tarmac. Ned held a clipboard containing data charts. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, we accidentally discovered a new branch of applied meteorology. Resonant atmospheric modulation via curated auditory stimuli. Marvin blinked. English? April translated. We DJ'd the weather, and we can stop or start responsibly. Dr. Nimbus's eyes twinkled behind bifocals. A controlled experiment could revolutionize drought management. Snow on demand for ski resorts. Mayor Goldblatt sensed potential. Rain-free wedding packages. Rita tilted her captain's hat. All we need is official support. Keep the blimp, license the frequency, partner with the weather service. Fiddler's Gulch becomes the weather capital of the world. Marvin crossed his arms. And the FCC? Rita extended a mixtape labeled Smooth Sailing Volume 1, first pick of the playlist every night. Marvin examined it, fighting a smile. Is that Earth, Wind, and Fire? Appropriate, right? He sighed. I should confiscate everything. Instead, I'll draft a provisional license under Experimental Broadcasting Clause 14B. Violate it and I shut you down so hard you'll feel it in next Tuesday's forecast. Rita saluted. Deal. 6 weeks later, Freefall FM relaunched as 100 Climate Control Radio, the world's first officially sanctioned meteorological musical service. The SS antenna received a fresh coat of paint rainbow gradient and a brand new tank of eco-friendly helium. Dr. Nimbus joined as scientific advisor. Mayor Goldblatt negotiated lucrative weather contracts. Agent Grimble, now Director Grimble, headed compliance and selected the Thursday night lineup, heavy on yacht rock. Opening night, Rita stood at the console, goggles polished, voice gleaming with mischief. Good evening, atmosphere. Captain Rita Ricochet here with the power of sound and sky. First up, Mr. Blue Sky by ELO, because Fiddler's Gulch, you deserve a perfect evening. Ned manned the quantum modulator too, now with actual circuit boards instead of duct tape. April handled requests, strictly vetted to avoid accidental tornadoes. As the song played, clouds parted in appreciative choreography. Sunset painted the horizon tangerine. Couples picnicked on rooftops. Children chased soap bubbles that glowed in golden light. And a banner across Main Street declared, weather provided by 100 CCRYOU, call it, we stall it. Up in the blimp, Rita leaned into the mic. Remember, folks, if you like what you feel, tip your DJ, preferably not with lightning. April laughed, Ned groaned, the sky twinkled, and somewhere, far below, a dachshund finally forgave the wind.